Are you a fan of Sony smartphones, but can't decide between the Xperia 1V and the Xperia 10V? Let's dive into the details and find out which phone is the right fit for you. Sony's latest release features two new smartphones, the Xperia 1.5 and the Xperia 10.5. Both phones come with impressive features and sleek designs, but each has its own unique selling points. In this video, we'll be comparing the Xperia 1.5 and the Xperia 10.5 to help you make the right decision based on your needs and budget. So, whether you're a tech enthusiast looking for a premium smartphone or simply in need of a reliable device, keep watching to see which phone suits you best. First things first, let's talk about the display of these two phones in more detail. The Sony Xperia 1.5 comes with a 6.5-inch OLED display with the resolution of 1644 by 3840, which is 4K resolution. The Xperia 1V's display also features a 120Hz refresh rate, making it super smooth to navigate through apps and scroll through your social media feeds. The display is also HDR10 certified, providing more vivid and dynamic colors. On the other hand, the Sony Xperia 10.5 has a slightly smaller 6.1-inch OLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 2520, which is full HD plus resolution. The Xperia 10.5's display has a standard 60Hz refresh rate, which means it may not be as responsive as the Xperia 1.5's display. However, the display is also HDR10 certified, so you'll still get a great color reproduction. Both displays are protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is one of the strongest types of glass available in the market. This means the displays on both phones are more resistant to scratches and accidental drops. Processor. Moving on to the processors. The Sony Xperia 1.5 and the Sony Xperia 10.5 have different chips under the hood. The Sony Xperia 1.5 boasts a more powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor with an octa-core CPU consisting of 1x Cortex-X2 at 3.2 GHz, 3x Cortex-A710 at 2.75 GHz, and 4x Cortex-A510 at 1.8 GHz, along with an Adreno 730 GPU. On the other hand, the Sony Xperia 10.5 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 processor with an octa-core CPU consisting of 1x Kryo 660 Gold at 2.2 GHz and 6x Kryo 660 Silver at 1.8 GHz, along with an Adreno 619 GPU. The Sony Xperia 1.5's processor is designed for heavy usage, such as gaming, video editing, and other demanding tasks. Its 5nm process, faster CPU, and GPU make it a better choice for users who want high-performance devices. Meanwhile, the Sony Xperia 10.5's processor is designed for everyday tasks, such as browsing the web, checking email, and using social media. Its 6nm process is still relatively efficient and can save battery life. Overall, both phones offer good processing power, but the Sony Xperia 1.5 is a more powerful device with a more advanced chipset. If you're someone who demands the best performance, then the Sony Xperia 1.5 is the way to go. However, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly option, the Sony Xperia 10.5 can still handle most tasks with ease. RAM and storage. Let's talk about RAM and storage, two important factors that can impact your phone's performance and usability. The Sony Xperia 1.5 and Sony Xperia 10.5 have different RAM and storage options to choose from. The Sony Xperia 1.5 comes with a whopping 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage, which is a lot. You can store a ton of files, apps, and media without worrying about running out of space. This amount of RAM also allows you to multitask and run demanding apps with ease. The phone also has an expandable storage option of up to 1 TB via micro SD card, which means you can add even more storage if needed. On the other hand, the Sony Xperia 10.5 comes with 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. This amount of RAM is good enough for everyday tasks like browsing the web and using social media. The storage is enough for most users to store their photos, videos, music, and apps. The phone also has an expandable storage option of up to 512 GB via micro SD card. In terms of RAM and storage, the Sony Xperia 1.5 clearly has an advantage over the Sony Xperia 10.5. However, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly option, the Sony Xperia 10.5 is a great choice. It has enough RAM and storage to handle most daily tasks, and the expandable storage option provides you with more space when you need it. Overall, it's important to choose a phone with enough RAM and storage for your needs. Whether you go for the Sony Xperia 1 V or Sony Xperia 10 V, both phones offer different options to suit different users. Now, shift our focus to the most important aspect of any phone: cameras. We all know how important a good camera is in a smartphone. Whether you're taking photos of your pets, capturing a beautiful sunset, or recording a video for your vlog, you want a camera that can deliver high-quality results. The Sony Xperia 1 V has a triple-lens rear camera system that includes a 48-megapixel main sensor with f1.9 aperture and OIS, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor with f2.2 aperture, and a 12-megapixel telephoto sensor with f2.3 to 2.8 aperture and OIS. It also has a 12-megapixel front-facing camera with f2.0 aperture. This camera system is designed to take stunning photos and videos in a variety of lighting conditions. You can capture wide-angle shots, zoom in for close-ups, and get sharp and clear photos even in low-light situations. The Sony Xperia 10 V also has a triple-lens rear camera system that includes a 12-megapixel main sensor with f1.8 aperture, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide sensor with f2.2 aperture, and an 8-megapixel telephoto sensor with f2.2 aperture. It also has an 8-megapixel front-facing camera with f2.0 aperture. This camera system is designed for taking everyday photos and videos, but it can still deliver impressive results. Both phones have cameras that can record 4K video at 30 frames per second, and both have features such as HDR, panorama, and portrait mode. So, whether you're a professional photographer or just a casual user, you can be sure that you'll be able to capture amazing photos and videos with either of these phones. Now, you must be wondering about the battery and operating system of both phones. Don't worry, we got you covered. Battery and operating system. Let's talk about the battery and operating system of these two Sony phones, the Xperia 1 V and the Xperia 10 V. Both these phones come with a massive 5,000 mAh battery that can last an entire day on a single charge. This is great news for all the heavy phone users out there who are always on the go and need their phone to last throughout the day. When it comes to charging, the Sony Xperia 1 V definitely has the upper hand as it supports both fast charging and wireless charging. With 30-watt fast charging, the Sony Xperia 1 V can charge up to 50% in just 30 minutes, which is impressive. The Xperia 1 V also comes with 15-watt wireless charging, which is super convenient for those who prefer not to be tethered to a charging cable all the time. On the other hand, the Sony Xperia 10 V supports only 15-watt fast charging and doesn't have wireless charging, which might be a bummer for some users. Moving on to the operating system, both the Sony Xperia 1 V and the Sony Xperia 10 V come with Android 13, which is the latest version of Android as of now. This means that users will get all the latest security patches, updates, and features that come with Android 13. Both phones also have a fast and responsive operating system, which is easy to use, making it a great choice for all users, including those who are not particularly tech-savvy. Lastly, both the Sony Xperia 1 V and the Sony Xperia 10 V have a great battery life and an up-to-date operating system. While the Xperia 1 V has the added advantage of faster charging speeds and wireless charging, the Xperia 10 V is a great option for those who are looking for a more affordable phone that still offers a great battery life. Ultimately, it all comes down to your personal preferences and usage patterns, so choose the phone that works best for you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button. We'll be posting more videos like this, so be sure to check out our channel.